smooth. All right, this time flawlessly with perfect connection. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so I'll be sharing the story of Barefoot College. And this is one interesting case because we're talking about women, illiterate women, who are going to be the main character in pioneering communities into solar power. Very unlikely story, but it's a true story. And let's dive in. This is Bunker Joy, and he is the founder of Barefoot College in India, in Tilonia. Barefoot College basically has no professors. Nobody with a degree can teach at Barefoot College. And what they're after is they want real life skills like midwives or solar engineers, things like that. So basically, they say we try to take solar power. First of all, they made the Barefoot College campus 100% autonomous because they launched solar power at rooftops, and also they collected rainwater in a 400,000 liter tank, which is buried underground. So they are perfectly capable of sustaining themselves for 5 years. In case of 5 years of drought, they're still reliant on their own water source. And all this has started in 1986 when Bunker graduated from college and wanted to go live in a village, and her mom said, "Are you crazy? What are you talking about? You got to be going to the west, like Paris, Zurich, and what are you talking about?" And he said, "No, I want to give back to my community, and I'd like to get started by uh, doing something in the villages." And when he went to village, the elderly people asked him, "Are you running away from the police? Or you couldn't find a government job? What is it you're not telling us? How come you're here with a degree from college?" And he said, "Okay, I got to get something back to the community." And that's how he started Barefoot College. And what happened is he knew nothing about solar power, but he knew he had to get off-grid communities access to power. And that's what he's been doing. He actually showed people that this is possible, and he started that with the campus. And ever since he made the campus autonomous, this is the picture of the campus, and all the rooftops are made so that the water comes down to the tank, which is in the middle underneath, buried in the floor. And the rooftops, they had their solar panels applied, so they are perfectly autonomous, 100%. And this is in India. So after doing all this, Bunker started to train people. And he said, if we can train people in off-grid communities, then these are usually pretty far out in the middle of nowhere places. That's why I'm showing the 4x4 car going in almost off-road roads, basically. And he started training. And then what happened is men took the training and left the community with the knowledge that they have. But he said, we need people to come back to these communities. So he came up with the idea, why don't we train women, especially women above 35? So that's what he started doing. So he basically went to really far out places. People didn't have power there. At night, they're using kerosene, or such energy sources, which is very difficult. So uh, he basically took all these ladies, 40 ladies every 6 months, comes to Tilonia to get trained on solar power, how to learn to make the circuits, how to read all the transistors and everything, and those boards and all. And the funny thing is, these people are coming from different countries. Most of them are illiterate, or they have only primary school education, and they don't speak the language of the tutor. So this is a very interesting class. How are they going to communicate? How can they teach this very, I mean, this is advanced technology. And I was asking to myself, like, if I were to go into this class, I'd be dumbfounded because this is really difficult stuff. So how is it possible that these women, illiterate women, in 6 months become solar engineers from all over the world? And basically, they said, we're using sign language. Look, I mean, these are ladies from uh, South America, from Middle East, from Africa, from all over the world. And the language that they're sharing is sign language. By the way, this tutor doesn't have his, I mean, part of his leg is missing, and he's teaching the class on clutches. And he is perfectly uh, doing a good job in communicating with these ladies. So after 6 months, these women, when they're exposed to circuits and boards and all that, at first it's very difficult, they say, but over and over, staying there, sharing the knowledge, they help one another, and they actually do learn how to take these solar panels, install them on rooftops. These two ladies, one is from Congo, the one on the left, and the other one is from Zimbabwe. And they say in the very first class, we were clueless. We didn't get anything what the instructor was saying. And we were pretty difficult. It was difficult. But then as time went by, we gained our confidence and we started learning. So eventually, when they're done at the end of the 6 months, they can actually go on top of the rooftops. And this lady over here says she is powerful now. She's being respected in the village because she can do what she's doing now. She's installing solar power on rooftops. Even men don't know how to do this in her village. And she's been transforming the lives of a whole village. So every single woman has been touching the lives of hundreds. And what they do is there's a subscription system. So when they install the solar power, there's a maintenance fee and installation fee. So everyone, especially women, now can do their work without being poisoned with bad gas from kerosene and stuff. And students can start learning, especially girls can look up their moms, grandmothers, and they say, we have a different life now. We can hope for ourselves. So there's a serious women empowerment, and that's how communities are being transformed. This is how things look from a macro perspective. It's a brilliant idea. Barefoot College has actually received the Alahan Award in 2005 for the agricultural accomplishment. And yet they had to give it back, the 50,000 euros, because the community didn't believe that barefoot in architects actually did this. Anyway, from a perspective, this is a very good story, but I need you to look at it from a micro perspective now. I'm going to take you to Jordan, and we're going to witness how this story unfolds for Rafia, a single woman from Jordan. But this is her tent. This is her house. I mean, can you imagine the desperateness of her situation? This is her tent. This is where she lives, basically, in the middle of nowhere. And this is, she's making fun. She's saying, this is our central heating system. And Rafia is 35 years old, and she has daughters, 4 daughters. And also, she's been to primary school, so she can read and write. And she is the second wife of her husband. Her husband lives with the first wife and the family, and she supports her daughters and herself on her own. Her husband is unemployed. So one day the minister comes and asks Rafia, together with Bankeroid, would you like to go to India to get training on solar power engineering? And she says, yes, I want to do that, because there's no future for her in this place where she's living now. And even though she has young girls, she wants to go and get trained so that when she comes back, she's going to have a job of either installing solar panels or training other women in this business. So either way, she's going to be able to make money and support herself. However, in the Bedouin culture, a woman cannot travel on her own. And there's another lady, her name is, that's the lady right behind the guy, Badr, and the guy in front is Badr, and Badr is Badr's son. So in the Bedouin culture, women are not allowed to travel without the presence of a male person from the family. So Badr, who's illiterate, is accompanied by her son, and Rafia joins them. So the three of them get to go to Tilonia, India. And this is the sign of Barefoot College in Tilonia, where every 6 months these ladies from all over the world get there. These are ladies from Kenya. So all these ladies from Kenya, Gambia, Burkina Faso, Colombia, Jordan, all over the place. They're just gathered there. Bunker has picked them personally up, asking permission from their husbands. And most of the time, husbands don't give permission. So Bunker has to negotiate. But somehow these ladies did get permission, and they're here for the training, and they're socializing with each other. And this, especially for Rafia, this is the first time she's being out of her country and meeting people from other countries. So look at the expression on Rafia and Badr's faces. This picture is telling a lot. These two ladies are clueless. Their eyes are so empty because they don't know the language. Badr doesn't even read or write. And Rafia is trying to write, but it's obvious they don't get anything. So this is the first class. And of course, over time, it changes and they do help one another. However, every time they, oh, by the way, uh, Badr, Badr's son, is usually sleeping at the dorm. Imagine, like, you are being given this opportunity of learning solar power engineering, and this guy is sleeping while the ladies, illiterate ladies, are trying to learn this. You know, this is mind blowing, and this guy is sleeping. Anyway, so just to show how men are reacting to knowledge here, I'm kidding, of course. And in the meanwhile, when she's talking with home, the sorrow in her eyes is very clear. She asks her mom, that's who she left her kids with. Did my husband come back to take care of the kids? And her husband, her mom says, no, he left when you left, and he's never been back ever since. And she's sorry for the girls because they're missing their mom. In addition, they're missing their dad. In the meanwhile, she gets calls from her husband asking for her to come back. And he keeps saying, if you don't come back, I'll divorce you. I'll take the girls from you. So you better come back. And she's torn in between this opportunity of once in a lifetime and going back to her family. And this is a very difficult choice for her, but she simply doesn't know what to do for a while. In the meanwhile, the class is going on, and these people who don't speak the same language, they have these books which are color coded. That's a nice way of showing the different circuits and which wire is going to be connected where, kind of thing. And this is Rafia's notebook for color coding the wires and the numbers. So in about a month's time, she's fed up with the calls from her husband, and she has to call the minister of the country, Minister of Environment and Energy, because that's the guy who fixed this whole deal. And she says, I have to go back. My daughter's tonsils are swollen and they can't manage the girls without me, so I have to go. She can't tell the truth to the minister that her husband is threatening to divorce and get the kids away from her. She's afraid of losing her children. Okay? So she said, I gotta go back. And she does go back. Unfortunately, she leaves. When she goes back, the elderly in the village ask her, what is it like in India? What is the solar power thing? And she explains they're using solar power to cook. They're using solar power for lighting. Everything is solar power, and it's clean and it's accessible, and women are doing this, not men. All the equipment and everything, it's done by women. So the elderly people are impressed. And of course, her husband starts bossing her around while she's attending her child's needs. On one hand, she's trying to shake the bottled gas to get some more gas to do lunch, because her husband, lying around there, is ordering her to cook lunch. And she obeys. In the meanwhile, this is the husband, unemployed, smoking, checking the phone, and doing nothing. Also, her mother, the lady in the front, is criticizing her. She says, for a woman, You better be with your family. That's your place. You belong to your daughters. You belong to your husband. Forget about going to India, all these dreams. Sit with where you are and do what you're supposed to do. And she asks, but there's no future for us. How are we just going to be unemployed doing nothing? If my husband was employed, I would have sit and okay, I would have relied on my husband, but he's unemployed, I'm unemployed, we're on state aid, and how is this going to go on? I want to work. Since she's seen all the other women working, she sees now the opportunity that she can do this too. And even though her mom is very close to her heart and she has some authority over her, she says, with your permission or without your permission, I'm going to go back because my kids are going to grow up. And what's going to happen to me after that? I'll still be lying unemployed over here. Whereas I have a chance to work and contribute to the society. I want to get that chance. So first, she has to overrule her mother. Then she goes back. She does overrule her mother. She does go back to the minister and ask for his help, explaining the situation. My husband is making me stop. I want to go and I want to learn this technology. I want to bring it back, but my husband won't let me. So she asks help from the minister, and the minister says, okay, this time I can't take chances. I'm going to make a contract with your husband saying, in case you come back, there's going to be consequences on your husband's part. So we need to make sure that you're not coming back. You're completing that training and you're bringing back that knowledge to Jordan because we need this. And finally, he talks with the husband and convinces the husband to let her go, even though the husband doesn't want to do it, since there's a contract and since the minister is applying pressure. And also, Rafia has talked with the elderly in the village, and then now the community is also applying pressure on Rafia's husband. You called her back, so you should send her to India, and she needs to bring this knowledge back. So basically, eventually she goes back. She is the first to ace her finals. In the final exam, they're given a certain time period, and she is the first person to complete the exam. So she completes her training with flying colors. And when she gets back, there's a press conference. She explains to everybody how she learned all the circuit work, all the panel installation, how to make light with solar power. Then she installs solar power on her rooftop, and this is her own house now. She graduates from her tent to a house, and she takes her daughters, but she's also pregnant. So basically, she was afraid of losing her husband, but she won her husband, and she now has a job, and she's also teaching this job how to install solar power to other ladies and empowering other women with this technology. Man her husband objects, doesn't want her to do this because he sees that Rafia is gaining independence, confidence with knowledge. So basically, even though this is a technology, uh, it also becomes a transformative power in the community, and women can have a say because now they have power. And this is something not liked in the Bedouin culture. Women are not sent to school after 10 years old. It's considered shameful for women to learn because they're afraid if women have knowledge, they're not going to listen to their husbands, which is debatable because the first verse of Quran is read. Read means learn, read, use your head kind of thing. Yet these people, they want to keep their women in the dark so that they can have some power over them. Anyway, so the point here is in the 21st century, with the advancement of technology, what matters is learning, unlearning, and relearning. And these women, illiterate women, if they can learn this kind of knowledge, then anybody, I mean, you guys are attendants, you are attending university, okay? So if these people are learning, then we should be learning even more. And we need to unlearn all the things that don't work, and we have to relearn, not wait for colleges, universities, but we have to do this on our own. Especially for women, we have to get access to knowledge and use it to empower ourselves. So these are the references I've shared for people, whoever